What up everybody, it's BBKDRAGOON back with some more Rumble tips. I made a Rumble tip video last year, but I have a lot of new viewers and the comments still ask for tips on this playlist a lot. The 5 things we're going to talk about in this video are limiting lines of sight, comfortable class and weapon setups, heavy ammo timing, not chasing down kills, being cautious of roaming, and interrupting kills. So if that sounds good, great, and if they sound super obvious and you're not interested, no worries. Here in this situation, I make a pretty big mistake. After securing this kill, I get put into a weak state, and instead of backing down and forcing that player to engage into me, I get aggressive and seek out the kill, causing me to lose the big advantage of my heavy ammo. Be cautious of being overly aggressive. In that situation, backing off would have been the right choice. So let's talk about limiting lines of sight. This one is crucial and it's a backbone to Rumble. If you're in the center of a map, there's lines of sight all over the place, from the left, the front, the right, the back. Especially look at Bannerfall. If you're out on the Mohawk in the center of the map, people from all over the place can see you. Whereas if you limit the amount of lines of sight, you're going to find less situations where you're getting crossfired. Players often complain, oh wow, that shotgun shot. Players often complain about getting crossfired in Rumble, and generally that results from not limiting the amount of lines of sight from the opponents to you. So if you can control a place on any map of the game that there's only 2 lines of sight to you, you're going to find Rumble a lot easier. Then you're only having to deal with the left and the right, rather than being flanked from behind. The spawns in Rumble allow players to spawn in a circle around you. It's not like Sixes, where the game tries to spawn them pretty much opposite of the side of the map your team is controlling. They can spawn behind you, just like in this situation here. So being mindful of that is very important, and trying to control areas on the map that have only a couple lines of sight to you will be beneficial. Comfortable class and weapon setups. I have to emphasize here, using guns you're comfortable with is very important. Do keep in mind the map that you're on. This map, Bannerfall, kind of suits some longer range sightlines, especially if you're using the courtyard as your positioning. Might a multi-tool down by the tree is going to do a lot better than a hand cannon will. But you need to use a setup that's comfortable for you on whatever map that you're playing. So just whatever that may be for you. For me, I really like IS Luna quite a bit right now. Last word on certain smaller maps. Hawksaw, Grasp of Malik, and even sometimes the Might multi-tool, but there's way more weapons other than that. When we talk about class setups, I really think roaming supers are beneficial to you. A super like a Voidwalker Nova Bomb, you may get lucky and get 2 or 3 people at once, but in general, having a roaming super like a Blade Dancer, Stormcaller, Sunbreaker, or a Gunslinger, I think gives you more opportunities for 2 to 3 kills per super. But also, using a class that has a great melee and nade is fairly important. So what I'm saying is use a class that's comfortable to you. Number 3, the heavy ammo timing. Heavy ammo in Rumble is probably the biggest securing key for victory. Setting up for the heavy before it happens and being ready with nades and melee charge is very important. Timing your super to deny heavy can also be very important, because understand the player who picks up the heavy in Rumble is probably going to get an easy 2 to 3 kills out of it, depending on which weapon they choose to use. And in tight games of Rumble, that obviously can spell victory or defeat. Chasing down kills in Rumble can be very dangerous, and a way you can throw away momentum quite quickly. Enemies in Rumble are using headphones and they're using sound cues in the game to listen for gunfights. That way, when they hear 2 players fighting, if they can show up and interrupt that fight and get an easy double kill, they're super stoked. When you chase a kill down, you open yourself up to multiple sightlines, just like tip number 1. So unless you can just really know you're going to pick up this important kill or shut down the important player, I would encourage you don't chase kills, or be very careful in your decision making on what kill you try and chase down. Additionally, when you spawn in on a Rumble game, you're pretty close usually to 1 or 2 enemies. So roaming aimlessly around the map the whole game is not the best option. Consult number 1. If you spawn in a place where there's a bunch of lines of sight towards you and it's not a good place on the map to control, then of course make your way to the places on the map that are good for control. These are places that offer you escape routes and limit the lines of sight. But don't be roaming the entire game, because you expose yourself to tons of crossfire situations, and that can really change the momentum of a game quite quickly. Number 5 is interrupting kills, and this just means when you hear 2 players fighting on the map, if it's in a place that doesn't violate the roaming or chasing rule, try and interrupt that kill and get a nice double. If 2 players are fighting one another, they're making each other weak. So if you show up at the right time, you might get an easy double kill out of the picture, or at least 1 cleanup kill. Do note you're not going to be the only person listening for these gunfights and trying to do the same strategy. So be careful, because it's like chumming the water. The sharks will all show up at the same time, and if you're not ready, Getting taken out just trying to interrupt a kill is not good for you or your map control. Time spent in the respawn screen is time not spent well for you. Pay attention to the special ammo spawn times and the heavy ammo spawn times, because these can be used to your advantage as well. Interrupting somebody who's a very anxious, aggressive player trying to pull special is a nice, easy way to time pretty much what are free kills if you do it correctly. That's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you have tips of your own or weapons you're really enjoying or class setups you like in Rumble right now, let me know down in the comment section. It's really cool to see what the viewers are enjoying and kind of the community at large here as we move into the Rise of Iron era. If you found this helpful, please let me know with a like. I think these are tips that are very broad, but I hope are something that can help you guys enjoy the Rumble game type just a little bit more. So have an awesome rest of your week. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
You've shown your might, Guardian. Well fought.